Oh, you've done it now, Johnny.
Welcome to the Breakdown with Jay and Nell, where we'll discuss all of your NFL and NBA news.
Tap in if you want to get to the breakdown.
Welcome to the Breakdown with Jay and Nell. I'm Jay.
And I'm L.
And today, guys, we're going to give you recaps of Game 3, Game 4, and give you our predictions for Game 5. But before we get started, L, how's your week?
I don't want to do a recap of Game 4. I've been sad against my team for the past 2 days now. Like, I'm still in disbelief. But it was work. Work was work, man. Work was cool. Can't complain. How was your week?
My week was good. Spent time with family, worked, getting my daughter ready for the weekend. She's going to be spending the weekend with her godparents. So me and my wife would get time to ourselves. So, yeah, excited for that. A long time.
Yeah, let's go. I was
So, yeah, just been working.
Yeah,
We've just been working on that.
Still. You know what that means. No, you don't know what that means, but we'll talk after the show.
Yeah, keep it PG-13.
Yes, we'll talk after the show.
All right, let's get into this Game 3 recap. First thing we're going to discuss is, do you believe Wemby should have been called for a flagrant foul on throwing down Jalen Brunson?
Yes, but he's the new face of the league, so he can get away with it. But he muffed the crap out of him though. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, he muffed the mess out of him. Like, get out the way, little boy. He could avoid him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a grown man. You're not finna get girl boy me. He said,
Yeah,
get out the way.
He like straight Debo'd him. I was like, man.
He said, get out the way. Move. Move, little boy.
But yeah, I think he should have been called for it. Like you said, the NBA is getting him ready. He's gonna be the new face in the NBA. So with that, you'll get stuff called stuff that should have been called, you should have got it called, but you're not because you're the face. But it was definitely, I feel like it was worth a flagrant foul. I think he should have probably at least a flagrant one. I don't think he should have been thrown out the game, but at least a flagrant one foul.
Yeah, that was bonkers. I don't know what was more bonkers, that or the elbow to Nas Reed. He elbowed the crap out of him. Bam.
Yep.
I'm glad if he would have elbowed me, it would have missed me. You gonna be hitting number air. Air. Yeah. You ain't hitting me in the head.
All right, next we're gonna discuss who's to blame for the Knicks for this loss.
Donald Trump. Who's to blame for the loss? They just got out coached, honestly. They got out coached. That's how that is.
Yeah.
And you knew they weren't gonna let them get a sweep. They wasn't gonna sweep them.
Yeah. I got tired of hearing that.
It wasn't gonna be a. It's
Yeah,
not gonna be a.
yeah. I was like, this the NBA Finals. The NBA is not gonna allow that.
If anything, it's gonna be. It's gonna be 4-2. And maybe they may let them win. It's gonna be 4-2. They're not gonna let them do no 4-1. That defeats the point of ratings.
Yeah,
They want
we'll
to.
see. We'll give our picks later.
It's all about ratings. So if they want the best, they'll get the. They know what to do.
Yeah, I think blame could have been passed like around like it was a team loss. Um, and the Spurs they just played like they wanted it more during that game. So I guess you could pass the blame around to everyone on the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
But you brought up our president, Donald Trump. So next thing we're gonna talk about is do you believe Donald Trump should be banned from the remainder of the finals and from MSG?
I didn't even know that man liked basketball. I've never heard him talk about basketball. Since I've known of him, I've never heard him say anything remotely about basketball. So that's the weird component. And then it's like the security measures and everything like that get made it so much worse than what it should have been.
Yeah, I honestly I think he should be banned. Why are you there? And I saw the video of him falling asleep during the game. So I was like, why are you
Man,
there?
what you been? Bro, you could have been at bed. You could have been at the house. Sleep. You want to sleep at the game? You know how bored you gotta be
Yeah,
to fall asleep at a basketball. The NBA finals in general, it's too loud in there.
yep. But I guess
All
he
the
wanted
secret
to
service
make it all
in
about
there.
him.
Huh?
What'd you say?
Like I said, all the secret services were there, looking around, messing up the vibe.
Yep.
Couldn't get too loud, couldn't get too soft. You didn't it was pointless.
Yeah. I think it definitely messed up the vibes. And I feel like it put like unnecessary pressure on the Knicks and their fans. They wasn't allowed to be fans. Like they had
Yeah,
to block off certain streets and they had to shut down watch parties just because our president was there. So I was like, yeah, it's like he's like a big distraction, and it kind of
yeah,
like it affected the players and it affected the fans. So
yeah.
I definitely
It
think he should be
made it
banned.
a lot more of a spectacle than what it should have been. It should have just been great basketball, but it was more of a spectacle about it. So
Yeah.
I had a question for you. I don't know if you
All right,
were
go ahead.
going to talk, but what do you think about our president going after Stephen A. Smith?
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't have that in the notes, but we could talk about it. Uh,
That
I
was
feel
crazy.
like yeah, I feel like his head is not in the right space. Like he's not focused on his priority. Why you focused on a sports media person and you not focused on like things going on in our country? You're more worried about basketball, which you probably don't even watch, probably never played at any level. So it's like, why would you go after a sports analysis like that? Like he, Stephen A. He was speaking facts. I agree with him for once for what he said. But
Yeah, I agree.
I
Like,
think Trump crossed the line. Like I think Trump crossed the line when he was like, "Oh, Stephen A. should run for president." What does the candidacy has to do with the NBA Finals?
nothing. It was so pointless and out left field that it didn't make no sense. Nobody was like, oh, okay, I expect this. No, it was random and I don't know what. That's what made it worse because it was so random. There
Yeah,
was no there was no rhyme or reason for it.
yeah. So that was wild. That was crazy.
Big.
Last thing we're going to discuss for the Game 3 recap, and then we're going to talk about Game 4, is Stephon Castle's comments. Now, he said this during Game 3, and I wish somebody would ask him the same question, like, moving forward. But he said he believed that the Spurs could come back and win the NBA Finals. Now they're down 3-1, but when he made those comments, they was down 2-1. But do you agree with Stephon Castle's comments, and do you believe the Spurs can do the unthinkable and come back from a 3-1 deficit?
First and foremost, it's not impossible because we've seen it done before in our lifetime, and it's possible. It's doable. It's been done once before, so it's doable. It's just for them to have that type of collapse, it it it, it wouldn't end well. Like it would look wild. But two things can occur if they were to do that, right? You know what New York City would do? They're burning the city down. They already were ripping folks' jerseys off. They're gonna burn that city to the ground. If you thought it was safe to go to New York after the finals, it ain't.
Um, I don't think it could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Knicks are going to take care of business tomorrow on Saturday, Game 5. But if it were to happen, um, it'd be crazy. And then we go hear all the talks of, oh well, the NBA is rigged and um it's fixed, and NBA wanted the Spurs to win all along. They just dragged this along just for ratings and endorsements, whatever, commercials, ads, whatever. They just dragged this along. So I don't think they could do it. They really hurt their chances of making this a series in Game 4, which we're about to talk about
But
here.
that was, oh my God. That was so just, oh, that was, that was such a freaking crazy situation that I was quiet the whole time. I couldn't even say nothing. I said, what?
Yeah. Um I was shocked. Like I really thought Spurs was gonna win. Been up by 29 points, and you allow the Knicks to come back like that.
When I
And
saw that and I wanted to flip every table over I saw, I said, what? What? And then I saw Like when nobody guarded OG, well, how did he get there? Who let him get that? And then De'Aaron Fox, what's wrong with you? Give the ball out. You had 9 seconds. Bro, dribble the ball out. You would have won.
Yep.
Or at least, if you're going to do it, right, make it like the last, like a minute, like a second at point, 1.2 seconds. They can't do nothing in 1.2 seconds. I said,
Yeah.
I was freaking, I didn't even go home and watch the highlights. I couldn't even watch the highlights. That's how bad it was. I didn't want to hear. I ain't listen to nothing. I ain't cut on my little old YouTube station. Nothing. I ain't going on TikTok. Nothing. I just was quiet. Just said, I know you lying to me. You gotta be. There's no way you're telling the truth right now.
Yeah. It was funny because I was actually about to bring up De'Aaron Fox and his decision, but I disagree with his decision to go for the big plays, go for the layup. Like you should have just pulled the ball out. You tried to do too much. The fact that he was able to tip the ball out to himself, I feel like that was impressive, and that was enough right there. Like you should just, as soon as you got the ball, you should immediately like just pulled it back, run out the time on the clock. You up by a point. They're going to foul you.
They're
You're in the
going to, you
bonus.
gotta get
You
the
know,
point
go for
anyway.
it.
They have no choice but to foul you. Even
Yup.
if you would have made
You know,
one or
go.
missed one, you still would have been up 3.
Yup. You'll
No,
go to the free throw line. So.
yeah. But I'm saying, even if you made one and you missed the other one, you would have won regardlessly.
Yeah, that was just a dumb basketball decision. And you're a
But
veteran too. Like I would have expected that from like Dylan Harper or Castle or
yeah,
somebody, but not from De'Aaron Fox.
like I know when he got on that plane and they looked at him, they gave him the most meanest side eye possible. They're like, you gotta sit in the front by yourself.
Yeah.
But
They asked during the press conference. They was like, so what were your thoughts on that on the play? And he was like, he believed he could have outran Anunoby
screw out.
um
Outran him
above the
for
line.
what? You there's no need to outrun him. It's not like the end of the first quarter. I mean the end of the third going into the fourth. Where you got another 15 minutes. You got one it's like point nine point I think like 9.8 seconds left. Bro, you're seconds. That means it's gonna be over in no time. You could have backed him down and then you could have pump faked. Got up in the air and did it like that. But you want to go for a layup. Screw a layup. You ain't no open factory. You ain't got no open lane. I don't know. I don't know. And to
Yeah.
make matters worse, my sister just texted me, Knicks in 5. I'm like, you ain't even watch basketball. You ain't even like it. I ain't gonna troll. You can't troll me. I ain't gonna troll me. I'm not even a Spurs fan. I'm getting trolled left and right. Like, come on, man. Like, What you gotta say, fam?
I was gonna say, yeah. I feel like he's definitely to blame for the game for the loss. Now there's other things happen throughout the game that we're gonna talk about, but that play alone, like you cannot look at that play and say if he would have just did the smart thing and pulled the ball back, the Spurs would have won the game. They definitely would have won the game if he would have been smart.
Yes, it was like 9.8 seconds left, bro. Like, there's no way they gonna foul you anyways. You're gonna get fouled either way you split it. You didn't need to go for a layup. You could have pulled it back and won because they're gonna foul you. I know you want to initiate contact too in the process, but I don't know. Maybe the Knicks, maybe just maybe. The Knicks ain't been nowhere in about 53 years, so you know maybe they trying to right their wrong of being something, being trash.
It's their time.
If they win, they're gonna have to shut the city down because they're not going to sleep. If you thought you were
Oh
gonna be able
yeah,
to get some sleep, oh yeah, they going New York City, bro. Chill, relax. But I got a question for you though. How do you feel about them, the fans, tearing and beating up Spurs fans?
I feel like it's very disgusting. Like it's very classless. Like you have no reason to to beat up anybody, honestly. But you have no reason to beat up a Spurs fan. Like not even if they're trash talking, even if they get up in your face and start trash talking you, like you still, I still don't think it's right for them to fight them. And yeah, a lot of people got arrested. I think yeah, it was that night. It was like 14. I think 14 people got arrested. A few people got injured. So it's like, what are you doing? Like you could be excited for your team, but you don't have to go beat up the opposing team's fan base. Like that's it's very uncalled for and very obnoxious behavior.
I agree, bro. Like that was just dumb and pointless. There's no need for you to do that. You won, cool, that's great. But then again, that's typical New York behavior. If you ever think about anybody that's from New York, they give off that type of behavior. I'm better than you. I'm from New York. You get me? Like that's typical New York behavior.
Yeah, but thank you for bringing that up because I forgot about that. But we're gonna talk about other reasons on why the Spurs collapsed during that game. Uh, First off, start off by a stat. The Spurs did make 14 threes in the first half, which I feel like they kind of got too comfortable. They started chucking up shots, chucking up threes, and that's fine when you're making them. But when you're not making them, and you notice you're not making them, you need to stop attempting them. So that was a flaw right there. They just kept just chucking up 3 pointers.
But if you have 30 points, if you have 30, at that point you feeling invincible. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like we see the end results, obviously, but when you have 30 at that particular time, you gonna chuck them up too. You may not, but the average person gonna be like, dude, I can chunk these up. I'm up. They not gonna come back. Even if they do come back, it ain't gonna be a substantial enough point difference, or towards it's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, but yeah, I got some numbers here that we're gonna talk about later, and in regards to your comments. But my next question is what happened to Wemby in the fourth quarter? He didn't score any points during the second half, and he only shot 36% from the court.
What happened to him? He kind of got big headed, probably. He probably got big headed. He probably didn't think that. He probably thought that he did enough, which was, I don't need to score no more. Not in a bad way, but in a we don't won the game already way. So what's the point of me scoring some more? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um, he's been in this whole series. It's like he's been consistent, but he's been inconsistent at the same time.
Yeah, he's
Um,
he's
it's like
he's
it's
he's
like when
that.
you need him to show up, he don't show up. Well, one game he'll show up, and then the next game he don't.
So so let me ask you this: do you feel like he's being inconsistent, or do you feel like he's too much in his head and not living in the moment?
I think he's too much in his head, like, and and I see the Knicks. They did a little reverse psychology on him. They were
Oh,
roughing him up a bit.
with the evidence stopper or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, they was roughing him up a little bit, and maybe that could have gotten into him. Maybe that could have got to him, or that moment when he was telling Mitchell Robinson,
I'm in your
he
head.
like, I got you. I'm in your head. It's like, bro, if you're gonna be that way through the whole game. Don't be like that in the first half, and then the second half you disappear. So I think he also had to play a role in losing the game too. And later in the game, he went to the free throw line. He missed both free throws. You gotta
Ooh,
you gotta
that
make your free throws.
that's one of his biggest. I don't want to say weaknesses, but something he can develop better is his free throw percentage. Cause yeah, we know he's gonna score, but he got better knocking him down too.
Yep. All right. Enough about the Spurs. We're gonna talk about the Knicks. Knicks for probably like for the remainder of the show. But let's talk about the Knicks, man. We talked about OG Anunoby and what he did on both ends of the court. Uh, getting the block on Fox and then the game-winning tip. So my question is, do you believe OG is the Knicks' unsung hero?
Of course, I was looking up something the other day where they was like, OG should never have to eat, never have to pay for anything ever again in uh in New York for the rest of his life.
Oh yeah, that was a defining moment. What he did, what he did on one end, and then he recovered on the other end, and he won the game for them. It's like that's a defining moment that's going to be etched into New York Knicks history because they're going to win the finals. So it's going to be etched forever. Like those two plays are going to be etched forever in
It's
New York
you
Knicks
know what
fans'
that reminds me
minds.
of? What that play reminds me of? You remember? You may not remember, but I remember vividly the block on Andre Iguodala.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
That's that. That's that version of that play. That's that version of that play.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But I think he should. I think he is the unsung hero. If we're gonna talk about Finals MVP here in a minute, I think he should be in the running for being a Finals MVP. So
I think so too.
yeah,
Even though we know it's gonna go to Jalen Brunson, we know it's gonna go to Brunson. So that's neither here nor there. But what's funny is that are they gonna allow? What is Becky Hammond gonna say? And she gonna say when for a minute she was saying Jalen's too small. The Knicks can't win. But they damn near about to win.
yep. I think she's gonna be eating her words after this.
Yeah, I think yeah. But I would
But all
rather
right, I'll go ahead.
win it at home than win it on the road.
Yeah, I saw somebody else said that on social media. They was like, Knicks probably gonna give it to the Spurs in Game 5. Let the Spurs win that one, and then Game 6 they'll finish them off in Madison Square Garden.
It's gonna hit harder, and like I said, do the ratings. They want it. You don't want a sweep, so you gonna want a close series, even if it's 4-2. You want it to be you feel a little bit better versus a 4-1 sweep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like the Knicks gonna get it done tomorrow. That's what I think. I think the Spurs they can't come back from this.
Never say never. That what they said. That what they said. That what they said about freaking Cleveland.
All right, we have a couple of more things that we're gonna discuss, and then the show will be done. But let's talk about Charles Barkley's comment on the Spurs. I don't know if you saw his comment, but he was like,
Oh, he like that's the
"The
dumbest basketball team in.
yeah, yeah, they're the dumbest basketball team of the civilization." So, what are your
I feel
thoughts
like
about Charles?
that was a over exaggeration for one. Two, that was unnecessary. Like yes, it was a dumb thing that we saw, but at the same time, in civilization, come on, bro, be for real. Like, come on, fam. Like, was it dumb? Yes. Civilization? No. That's it's not. No.
Yeah, I think he should have rephrased it. Like, if he's talking about that play with Fox, he should have said like that's one of the dumbest plays I ever seen in NBA.
Yeah.
But I think just to call the Spurs a dumb team, I think that's I think that's false. They're not a dumb team. It's just they're young and they're very inexperienced. And there's gonna come a point during these finals that they were gonna make a dumb mistake, and they did. What De'Aaron Fox did. But
Yeah.
I still feel like they still. I mean, they were all bad. They were bad all around. Still letting the Knicks come back for 29 points. But
Yeah.
I would call
That
them. I would
that
call
in
them the
itself was
dumbest
bad.
team.
But calling us the dumbest team, and it's who are you? Yes, you're in the Hall of Fame, but you ain't got no ring. Last time I
Yeah,
checked, Charles ain't got no ring. Michael took a few of the
All right.
rings he was supposed to get.
Man,
When you went to Houston, you ain't win no rings. And you were playing with Elijah Moore and Robert Ory. Just saying.
all right. We have a couple more things we'll talk about, then close out the show. We talked about. I brought up Finals MVP. So, who do you think the Finals MVP is going to be?
Jalen Brunson. As much as it would be cool to give it to OG, it's gonna go to Jalen. It's not going to Cat, but it's definitely going to Jalen.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson, he's averaging 27 points in the finals, 6 assists. I would say if OG has another great game, then you got to consider him to be the finals MVP. Just
So,
because of what he
so
just because of what he does on both ends of the court. He could defend and and he could score too. So he could do both. If he makes another like game changing play like how he did uh in game 4, then you gotta consider him for finals MVP. So for me, I think it's a tie. It's between Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby.
So I have a question then. What does his stat line have to look like for him to win it? Take
Well,
those two
right
plays
now
away.
he's averaging. You know what?
If you take those two plays away, what does the stat line need to look like?
Well, right now in the finals, he's averaging 20.7 points a game and 6 rebounds. So maybe if he has like a big game, like he scored 30 points, that could probably bump his average up to like 25 maybe, or right at 27 with Jalen Brunson. Then you have to consider him.
Okay. Okay.
And all right, and the stat that I mentioned that I had for you earlier was you saying that the Spurs, you understand why the Spurs are chunking up threes, but in these finals, when the Spurs led, they ended up losing these games. So in game 1, the Spurs led the Knicks by 14. They lost that. Game 2, Spurs led Knicks by 12. They lost that. Game 4, they blew a 29-point lead. So it seems like every game that the Spurs had the lead in, they lost. So you got to change your approach.
So okay. Let me ask you this then. So is it that they don't know how to play from ahead, or is it that they're better playing from behind?
I think um that's a good question. I'll say they play better from behind, but I feel like when they're ahead, they just need to like settle down. I feel like they try to do too much when they're ahead. So if I'm up about 29 points, obviously that's a big enough lead. I should be able to maintain that lead. If I'm playing defense on the other end, um, being smart with my shot selection, like some of those threes weren't good looks. So it's like I would take those. Just like little
Mhm.
things like that.
I got you. I got you. I definitely got
All
you.
right, all right. Before we go, who you have winning Game 5?
I got the Spurs winning Game 5.
You think it's gonna be by double digits, or you think it's gonna be close?
Close. It's been close this whole series.
Yeah.
It ain't
I'm
you
gonna
know
go.
no bad blowout game. It's been a close. It's been a close game every game.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the Knicks. I just feel like this was like a heartbreak moment for the Spurs. And if there was a veteran team, then I'd be like, yeah, they'd probably be able to bounce back from it. But since they're so young, I don't think they're able to handle this type of heartbreak. So I feel like it's gonna be one of those games when they have the lead and then they lose it, and then from on there, it's just like the Knicks just keep punishing them. So I'm gonna go with the Knicks. Knicks in 5. They gonna go back. They go put the Spurs away in San Antonio, celebrating, hosting that trophy, and yeah, it's gonna be a sad night for San Antonio Spurs fans.
Gotcha. Is
All
there
right,
anything
is
else
there
you
anything
want to talk
else you
about
want to
Greg?
add? Uh, Make sure you support us on all our social media accounts: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We appreciate the support. Um, appreciate the support on Instagram. From I did a social media post on the play by De'Aaron Fox. Reached over 3,000 views on that video, so appreciate that support. And y'all make sure y'all keep supporting us, and we'll be back next week to talk about the finals as a whole. It should be concluded by the time we record again for next week. So appreciate y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.